Hi guys, welcome back. This is FSX404. Today I've decided to redo my soft field takeoff and landing tutorial. I would like to expand a little bit more on what I've had before. The objective of a soft field takeoff technique is to get the airplane off the ground as soon as possible to avoid damaging the landing gear. We must remember that taking off from a soft field reduces the airplane's acceleration during the takeoff roll, and because of the hazards presented by the rough surface, the airplane's weight must be transferred rapidly from its landing gear onto its wings. Establishing a high angle of attack or a nose-high pitch attitude during a takeoff roll will do the job. Wing flaps may be lowered if they're available to provide additional lift and transfer the airplane's weight from the landing gear onto the wings as soon as possible. Once the plane starts taxiing, stopping the plane might bog the plane down, so the airplane should be kept in a continuous motion while lining up with the runway for the takeoff roll. As soon as the airplane is aligned with the field runway, full power should be applied smoothly. As full power is applied, full elevator back pressure should be slowly applied to establish a positive angle of attack, reducing the weight supported by the nose wheel. As the airplane picks up speed rolling down the runway field, the wings will progressively relieve the airplane's wheels off of the airplane weight. The airplane will slowly fly itself off the ground, becoming airborne at airspeed slower than the safe climb speed because of the ground effect. Once the airplane reaches a safe climb speed, we can put the airplane into a normal climb. Let me just talk a few seconds about the ground effect. The ground effect is something that affects the airplane when it's approximately one wingspan length above the ground. In our case, using a Cessna, this will be from the ground and up to 30 feet. The ground effect is especially pronounced within the area of the half of a wingspan. In our case, this is 15 to 20 feet above the runway. I'm not going to go into technical detail about the ground effect, you can look that up on your own, but needless to say, within this 15 to 20 foot area above the runway, the airplane will lift off and float at a below minimum flight speed, that is to say, below the airplane's stall speed. As long as the airplane is within this 15 to 20 feet above the runway, the plane will fly and float, but if the airspeed is not increased when the airplane goes above this 15 to 20 feet above the runway, the airplane will stall and drop like a brick. The soft field takeoff in the Cessna 172 starts with a taxiing onto the runway. As we taxi, we'll put 10 degrees of flaps down for a Cessna 172 soft field takeoff. Landing light is on, strobes are on, transponder is on alt. And as we are taxiing onto the runway, it's very important to keep the airplane rolling. We don't want to fully stop the airplane. Once we are lined up with the center line of the field runway, we'll smoothly advance the throttle to full. As we advance the throttle to full, we'll smoothly bring the yoke all the way back. As the airplane starts picking up speed, the nose of the airplane will start to lift before the airplane is ready to fly. As soon as the airplane starts lifting off, we'll gently level off the airplane at about 5 to 10 feet off the ground. We'll keep the airplane in the ground effect area until the airplane has reached a safe climb speed of 62 knots. Once the airplane reaches 62 knots, we'll pitch up and put the airplane in a normal climb speed of 65 to 75 knots with 10 degrees of flaps down. At 500 feet AGL, we'll retract the flaps and climb to the Cessna 172 best straight climb speed of 74 knots. The soft field takeoff in the Cessna 182 also starts during your taxi onto the runway, but for a Cessna 182, we'll put 20 degrees flaps down. Landing light is on, strobes are on, transponder is on alt. We'll make sure the airplane keeps rolling and does not stop. Once we are lined up with the center line of the field runway, we'll smoothly advance the throttle to full power. As we advance the throttle, we'll smoothly bring the yoke all the way back. The airplane will slowly start lifting off before it has reached its minimum climb speed. As soon as the plane starts lifting off, we'll gently level off the plane at about 5 to 10 feet above the runway. We'll keep the airplane in the ground effect area until the airplane has reached a safe climb speed of 64 knots. We'll wait until we clear the trees in front of us, then we'll bring the flaps up to 10 degrees. Okay, flaps up to 10 degrees. Once we're at 500 feet AGL, we'll bring the flaps all the way up. And once we reach 1000 feet AGL, we'll reduce the power back to 23, we'll set the prop at 2400 RPM, and we'll climb at a Cessna 182 normal climb speed of 85 to 95 knots. The objective of a soft field landing is to touch down as smoothly as possible and at the slowest speed possible. The plane must be controlled in a way that the weight or load of the airplane is smoothly transferred from the wings onto the landing gear, to minimize the stress imposed by a rough or soft surface onto the airplane's landing gear. For that reason, we'll use the airplane's short field approach speed, the flaps will be full down if the flaps are available, and once we're established on the flare, we'll add a little bit of power to make the touchdown as smooth as possible. Once the airplane has touched down, we'll reduce the power completely and very slowly apply full back elevator pressure to keep as little weight as possible on the nose wheel of the airplane. The brakes will not be used because stepping on the brakes will put a heavy load on the nose wheel, which could make the nose wheel dig into the soft field. The rougher surface of the soft field will provide enough reduction in forward speed to slow the airplane down sufficiently in time. Most of the time, the pilots will actually have to add a little power to keep the airplane moving and not becoming stuck in the soft surface. When doing a soft field approach in the Cessna 172, we'll have the flaps fully lowered and we'll keep a speed of 60 knots on the final approach. Once we've cleared the trees, we'll reduce the power completely and glide the airplane onto the soft field runway at 60 knots. We'll do a nice easy flare, and just before touchdown we'll add a little power to smooth out the touchdown. Once we touch down, we'll reduce the power fully and pull the yoke very slowly all the way back to keep any extra weight off that nose wheel. We won't use the brakes at all, and once the plane has slowed down sufficiently, we'll taxi off the field runway. A soft field approach in the Cessna 182 is almost exactly the same as the Cessna 172. We'll have the flaps fully lowered and we'll keep a speed of 63 knots on the final approach. Once we've cleared the trees, we'll reduce the power completely and glide the airplane onto the soft field runway at 63 knots. We'll do a nice easy flare, and just before the touchdown we'll add a little power to smooth out the touchdown. Once we touch down, we'll reduce the power fully and pull the yoke very slowly all the way back to keep any extra weight off that nose wheel. We won't use the brakes at all again, and once the plane has slowed down sufficiently, we'll taxi it off the field runway. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and take care.